Now, on a special edition of KGW News, why several Portland businesses say after decades they're now being forced to close.
1 year is a long time for anyone.
Plus, why American authorities say they detained an Oregon mother and her children at the Canadian border. And a group of children are given the opportunity to run, jump, and play together even better than before.
And meet them and see that, oh, you're not that different.
But we're going to start off tonight with an upcoming weather impact alert. We saw another warm day across the Rose City to start the weekend, but it's about to get extremely hot over the next several days. Thanks so much for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm John Adams. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri has more on the weather impact we'll be seeing as soon as tomorrow. Joe?
Hey there, John. This is going to be one of two weather impacts that we'll be issuing over the next couple of days. Let's focus on the first one. That's the one for tomorrow. Basically, throughout the metro area, throughout parts of the Columbia River Gorge, and all the way down into the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley, temperatures are going to be downright hot. How hot? Well, I'm forecasting highs, at least the northern part of the metro area, right around the mid-90s, maybe a little bit warmer than that. You get near Lynn and Lane County, you can easily see temperatures approaching 100 degrees. I think the places that see triple-digit heat will be throughout the Dalles and throughout eastern Oregon. Again, the need is going to get plenty of water over the next couple of days and try to limit some of that sun exposure as well. Ridge of high pressure in place, and this isn't going to be changing over the next couple of days as we bring in the radar. We're not going to really need it over the next few days because it's going to be that clear across the Pacific Northwest. And speaking of that, here's a live look from our Chehalem tasting room over in Sherwood. Temperature of 87 degrees. And as we look at the watches and warnings, heat advisory will kick in tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., stays in effect until 10 p.m. Then an excessive heat watch will kick in effect starting Tuesday. Right now, it's in effect until Wednesday, but there's a good chance to see that extended as I'm expecting to see a 3-day stretch from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, upper 90s to close to 100 degrees. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. Definitely some heat to pay attention to. Well, crews were called out to put out a brush fire on Sauvie Island earlier today. It happened around 3:15 this afternoon near Northwest Sauvie Island Road and Howell Park Road. We're still waiting for details, including how it started and how large that fire grew. By the time our crew got there, the fire was mostly out. Well, a couple of well-known and cherished Central East Side Portland bars have announced they're shutting down for good and soon, as some businesses struggle to continue post-pandemic. Celine Stevens spoke with one of those businesses to find out why they're deciding to close their doors after 20 years.
It's like every time we take a step forward, it's like another step back.
Steve Carter is general manager at Slow Bar, a well-known spot for people to grab a burger and a drink 7 days a week. The bar just hitting its 21st anniversary on the 4th of July.
There's people that wouldn't know each other if they hadn't been sitting next to each other at this bar. And they've become fast friends, and it kind of bums me out to think about where people are going to meet up now.
Now the closure coming after consistent financial struggles post-pandemic.
Basically just not wanting to go any more into debt, or not really able to go any more into debt, and it was just kind of time to call it. We've done everything we can as far as getting costs down and getting the costs of operating business down, but getting people through the door has been a little bit more difficult lately.
Carter says he thinks problems with the drugs on the streets have also contributed to slow business.
Sales have definitely declined like at least 30%.
And it's not just them. Also on the Central East Side, Home, a bar, announced they are closing at the end of the month after 10 years due to increasing costs. And Higgins Restaurant in downtown announced they are on the brink of closure, writing in a statement they are hanging on by a thread.
Just driving down Grand here and thinking about what we're losing, like Next Adventure is closing now. Nicholas isn't down there anymore. Andy and Bax is gone. Ollie Damon's left years ago.
According to Prosper Portland, the city's retail sector continues to struggle, with vacancy rates for retail properties increasing to 32% in the fourth quarter of 2024, up from around 12% from quarter 4 in 2019. Now, Carter is expecting Slow Bar's doors to close for good on August 9th, sending their staff to try and find new jobs and fans of the bar to find a new gathering place.
Hearing the stories of people talk about like things they experienced here and like, growing up here, it's 21 years is a long time. It's been an experience to see that with people, and it's gonna be sad to not see them anymore.
In Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Well, search and rescue coordinators in Clackamas County are searching for a missing mountain biker. The sheriff's office says 52-year-old Ralph Sawyer, an experienced biker, left Friday morning to bike near Mount Hood. He was supposed to return that night. Rescue crews have since found his vehicle with his cell phone inside. The sheriff's office is asking for help. They're centering their search around the Trillium Lake area. Sawyer is 6'1" with brown hair. He was last seen wearing an orange bike helmet, blue shirt, and black shorts. If you have any information to share, call 503-723-4949. American authorities say they have detained an Oregon mother and her children at the Canadian border. That Portland mom and her 4 young kids were detained in Washington during a visit with family at a park that reaches across the 49th parallel. Alma McCarty breaks down this case for us.
A mother and her 4 U.S. citizen children from my district have been in an inhumane situation.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter calling out U.S. Customs and Border Protection outside a facility in the small city of Ferndale, Washington.
She's been denied access to counsel. She's been denied access to her U.S. representative. If we accept that citizen children can be taken without cause, without due process, that mothers can be disappeared across state lines, we surrender our democracy.
That mother, Jackie Merlos, her mom, and 4 children traveled up to a well-known meeting spot on the U.S.-Canadian border, Peace Arch Park.
For years, people have used it as kind of a neutral area where they can see friends and family.
But that meeting with her sister ended in detention. Here's Mimi Letnich, close friend and guardian to Merlos' children.
Her sister, who's a Canadian citizen, stepped over the line when she was saying goodbye.
Following that fateful farewell on June 28th, Mimi says Border Patrol approached, arresting Merlos, detaining her and her kids. Days later, she says ICE picked up Merlos' husband, Carlos, in Portland, taking him to the facility in Tacoma.
They're the kind of people you want in society. They're the people that, you're lucky enough to have as friends.
But a Customs and Border Protection spokesperson claims the mother was arrested for trying to smuggle, quote, illegal aliens into the U.S. In a statement, they added her children were present during the smuggling attempt, and she requested the children remain with her during detention. Len Saunders, an immigration attorney in Blaine, Washington, weighed in on the detention.
Something doesn't add up here. It doesn't add up that a mom would bring her 4 American kids if she was trying to help smuggle aliens into this country. So I'd be interested to know what the final details are and if Homeland Security is being honest here and upfront.
That was Alma McCarty reporting. Now, Saunders told us the Ferndale facility isn't meant for lengthy stays. The family's attorney says while Jackie isn't a citizen, she's applied for a special kind of visa, and those documents are pending. The attorney also says she's not been charged with any crime. Earlier this afternoon, Representative Maxine Dexter from Oregon accused the federal government of treating Jackie and her children not as citizens, but as threats. Well, a woman who lives near the South Portland ICE facility in the near nightly protests is now suing the city because of all of the noise. Well, sirens like that, along with bullhorn messages from protesters, are among the noises Cloud Elvin Grail says are making it, quote, torture to stay in her home. She lives in low-income housing just across the street from the ICE facility. The noises, according to the lawsuit, have been happening well into the night for weeks. And the plaintiff even believes her hearing has been damaged.
She's not saying that people shouldn't be able to stand out there and wave their signs and have, supportive honks every now and then come through. That's not what this is. She wants the weaponized noise to stop. She wants the city of Portland to come in and do their job.
Well, the lawsuit asks the city to enforce its noise laws and increase the police presence in the area during protests. We've reached out to the city for comment, but have yet to hear back. A local nonprofit for pets gets a big boost in funding to offer free veterinary care to those in underserved communities. The Portland Animal Welfare Team, also known as the PAW Team, has received a $100,000 grant from PetSmart Charities to support its clinics. The team plans to expand services to East Portland, specifically to the Rockwood neighborhood and areas around Gresham. The goal is to provide free vet care and pet supplies to historically underserved communities. With the rising cost of vet care and pet food, plus cultural and geographical barriers, they say many pet owners are skimping on their own needs to provide for their pets.
Pets mean so much to us, right? Our pets are our family. And the idea of having to choose between your family member or your basic needs or having to give up your pet due to financial circumstances is unbearable.
The PAW Team provides acute care, vaccines, and flea protection for pets, as well as free food and pet supplies. They rely on donations and volunteers to support more than 3,000 families each year. They say they've seen a dramatic increase in need, including a 100% increase in demand for pet food.
It's one of the very few opportunities that they have to be in a whole group of people that look just like them.
Well, it's a chance for some children to have a more equal playing field in the world of sports. Today, Shriners Children's Portland invited some of its patients to get fitted for new running blades. They're a type of prosthetic leg designed for athletic activities. We spoke to one girl who is thankful the hospital is providing them, given the challenge children without limbs can face.
Some of the people at, of course, different ages have been able to prove that you can do anything. Even though you don't have a leg or an arm, you can always do something.
Today's event was done in partnership with the Dave McGillivray Finish Strong Foundation. Well, coming up, pro wrestling is taking over Portland's Viking Arena this weekend. How this event aims to stand above the rest. Welcome back. Well, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight on WWE's main event, you might want to check out the local prestige wrestling show this weekend. Tomorrow, wrestlers from around the world will face off in Combat Clash 2025 right here in Portland. Photojournalist Dan Arusha spoke with the organizer and a tag team champion about what you can expect.
It's loud. It's jam-packed.
Wow! Toe bang, God!
It's violent.
in the form of the Messiah of the backbreaker.
Prestige Wrestling started in 2017 as a reaction to an independent wrestling show that I went to that wasn't great, and I thought I could do better. I've always said that the reason I got into wrestling was to give somebody the best night of their life, and that whether that's the fan or the wrestler too.
People love that Danhausen. There's no other feeling. There's nothing that compares to being in the ring, doing what you love to do. I love the pageantry, I love the athleticism, I love the fights, I love the reaction that you can get from the fans. I love the backstage stuff, everything. I love everything about it. Well, I'm Ricky Gibson, one half of the Midnight Heat. So I started wrestling in 2004 here in Hillsboro, Oregon. I've wrestled all over the West Coast, traveled to Costa Rica, through Canada, and in 2021 I started training students, and I have about 80 students right now. So I run pro wrestling training class 4 days a week.
I have been wrestling for about just over 2 years now. I was scrolling through the TV channel, started watching WWE when I was very little. And then just stuck with it. And once I started to hit a certain age, realized that there was an opportunity to kind of pursue this and chase this, and started showing up to Oregon Pro Wrestling School, and the rest is history. First getting in the ring was an incredibly kind of eye-opening experience. Everything hurts.
Well, I know it's easy to see when someone gets slammed on the ground that it hurts. I know it's easy to see when someone gets punched in the face that it hurts. But hitting these ropes, these are steel cables. Hitting these buckles, this is a steel buckle. Like, this is metal that you're hitting. And a lot of times fans don't necessarily realize that until they come into the school and they try out the first day. It hurts.
Love doing it, and it's insanely rewarding when everything is great. And so just being able to chase your dreams and live your dreams, and there's always going to be a little bit of give back with something. This one with wrestling just so happens to be a little bit more physically.
The thing that makes independent wrestling special is the connection with the fans and the wrestlers and the people involved, and the how close you are to it. You know, you're right there on the ring. You're jam-packed in a small venue. It's more punk rock than WWE or AEW.
You get to tell your own story. You're in charge. Here's the thing that I love about pro wrestling. You don't have to be a fan. You can come with a fan. You can come with someone that's been to every single Prestige show ever, and you can see the excitement in their eyes and on their face, and when they can't physically keep themselves in their seat because they're up clapping and cheering and yelling. You don't have to be a fan, though. You can come in completely blind and just be absolutely entertained by everything that's going on in the ring.
Tomorrow's show starts at 7 at Viking Pavilion on the PSU campus. For tickets and more information, you can go to prestigewrestling.net. Well, meteorologist Joe Ranieri joining us. Joe, you can make quite the entrance, and you did here in the studio.
I did. I made it. I threw up our studio door and made a big old roar. But I was never a big wrestling fan. What about you?
Well, you would watch from time to time. I
meant participating. I had a Hulk Hogan workout set, but my wrestling career was pretty short. My mom actually dropped me off to Tony Russo's Takedown Camp, where I grew up, and she dropped me off to the wrong side of the gym. So I was wrestling with older kids. Lasted one night. I was just getting pummeled. And you know what, Mom? I'm going to play hoops, I think. And I had a more successful career on the court than I did on the mat.
Well, and a successful career predicting weather as well.
And I'm going to hopefully have the hold true heading tomorrow. Here's a look at what we saw today. It was sunny and hot. We saw temperatures close to 90 degrees. The sunset tonight is 8:58. But going forward, we're going to really see the warmest stretch of weather we've seen so far this year. I have a handful of days with temperatures 90 or above, and also have one day where we could be looking at a daytime high close to 100 degrees. Now, this ridge of high pressure is going to be in place over the next 7 days or so. The coolest day we have will come Monday, and I think you're going to like the daytime high on Monday, considering what we're going to be seeing heading into not only tomorrow, but into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's go out to the Oregon coast right now, where we're looking kind of a pretty scene out there. If you kind of look past that lens a little bit, we're looking at temperatures in the low 60s. Here's a look at your weather impact headlines. Heat advisory will take effect tomorrow morning. Highs reach the mid to the upper 90s in a few locations around the valley. I think here locally, we're topping out around 95, 96 degrees. We definitely heat up, though, heading into much of next week. Downtown Portland right now, temperature of 86 degrees. Winds are coming in from the north-northwest about 9 miles an hour. Now, as we look at this one model, we're showing nothing but sunshine. There will be a little bit of cloud cover tomorrow along the Oregon coastline, but in terms of us seeing much in terms of cloud cover, it's just not going to happen. We saw temperatures in the upper 80s earlier today. I need to double check and just see how many days we've seen 90 or above so far. It's a handful, and we're going to add to that collection over the next few days. 90 degrees in Hillsborough, 91 in Aurora, and again, on the east side of the state, the mid to the upper 90s over in the Dalles. Now, we'll be under that heat advisory tomorrow, but we'll also be under an excessive heat watch starting Tuesday and into Wednesday, and I do believe the National Weather Service will extend that heading into a later part of next week. But here's the setup over the next couple of days. So Monday is going to be cool, but you'll notice the warm air really starts to push through over the early part of the week. Basically, from Tuesday and beyond, we're going to be seeing nothing but sunshine, and with that sunshine will be some serious heat as well. Again, if you're going to be out to the Oregon coast over the next couple of days, you're going to be seeing very picture-perfect conditions. Temperatures tomorrow morning will be in the low 60s. I'm forecasting daytime highs in the upper 60s, low 70s. Now, it will be just a tad cooler the more south you go along Highway 101, but regardless, that's going to be one place that is going to be seeing a big population boom over the next couple of days, especially if you don't have AC, because our overnight lows really don't cool off a whole lot either. So by, I'd say, early part of the afternoon tomorrow, we're going to be sitting right around the upper 80s, 87 degrees in Portland, and then this model is showing right around low to the mid 90s. I think we're just a couple of degrees warmer, especially down in the Salem and Albany area. That's where that heat advisory will be in place tomorrow and into Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So here's a look at the weather impact alert. I'm going for tomorrow, high of 96 degrees. Again, that heat advisory takes effect tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., expires at 10. Then we'll cool off for Monday. That'll be kind of a refreshing day. And then we look at temperatures, John, right around the upper 90s to low 100s. I don't think we're going to be seeing a threat of any record-breaking temperatures. If we do, it'll come Wednesday, but that is a very hot stretch, especially if you don't have an AC. And look at the overnight lows. We don't cool off a whole lot, low to mid 60s. If you're looking at an overnight low of 67, you're just going to warm up the following day. So there's a good chance we're sitting at close to 100 degrees come Thursday as well.
And we're still seeing those late sunsets
as
well.
Yes, exactly right.
All right, Joe, thank you. Well, happening this weekend in Corvallis, it's the Special Olympic Summer Games. More than 1,000 athletes from every county in Oregon have gathered at Oregon State to compete in track and field, softball, and more. Now, these athletes are trying to secure their spot in the 2026 USA Games, which will take place in Minneapolis. All events are free and open to the public. Well, we're in the middle of the NBA Summer League. We got a good look at one of the newest Blazers in action. Art Edwards is going to join us with those details next.
Welcome back. Well, one game in the books for the Portland Trail Blazers in the NBA Summer League. A good start for Portland and rookie center Yang Hansen. Going against the Golden State Warriors in Game 1, Yang showed off his passing ability. He had 2 outstanding assists early in what turned into a 106-73 Portland blowout win. Yang finished the game with 10 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocked shots. After the game, Yang, through his interpreter, thanked the fans for the cheers for him.
I appreciate all the fans, like from China or just even the States. Someone just yelling to my name, like just talk about my name. I might listen there. I really appreciate everyone to come here to watch my play. I mean, I don't think today is an impressive game for myself, but I'll be better.
Portland takes on Memphis tonight. Game tips off in just a few minutes. I'll have the highlights at 11 o'clock. The Portland Timbers back on the road this weekend for a match with St. Louis City SC on Sunday. The Timbers are coming off a home win last weekend at Providence Park against the New England Revolution. Portland got the winning goal from David DaCosta. St. Louis right now is a team that is in desperate need of a positive result.
They're at home. They've got a really good fan base. The atmosphere is always good there. They're going to see this as vital 3 points for them. And I think the big lesson from the Toronto game, like we learn every single week, there's no easy game in this league. You can look at form, you can look at consistencies, you can look at whatever you want to look at, but every game you've got to be at your absolute best. And if we're not, we'll not get the right result.
The match is set for tomorrow afternoon, kickoff at 4 p.m. The Timbers sit in 4th place in the West and look to come through with a result on the road. The Major League Baseball draft is on Sunday. 3 Oregon high school prospects are likely to have their names called early in the draft. Sunset High School star Cruz Schoolcraft might be the most highly regarded of Oregon's high school players. Schoolcraft is a 6'8" pitcher. Those 90 miles an hour, he led Sunset to the state title. He has committed to Tennessee for college baseball, but will likely hear his name called early in the first round. Now, the other first-round prospect from Oregon is Summit's Slater DeBruin. DeBruin is an outfielder who committed to Vanderbilt. He led the Storm to a state title this year. And then there's Barlow's River Hamilton. He's the 3rd of the highly regarded high school baseball players. He's a pitcher and infielder, ranked number 99 in Major League Baseball's prospect rankings. And finally, former Grant High School football star Ndamukong Suh announced his retirement for the NFL today. He made the announcement on the 1-year anniversary of his father's death, calling his father his idol, coach, and anchor. The defensive lineman spent 5 seasons in Detroit, then played for the Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Eagles. He's been out of football, though, for the past 2 seasons.
And he had a really fantastic career. I remember when he was in college, and he was just a terror on the gridiron.
Maybe a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in a couple of years.
Yes.
And you know, the one thing that we're continuing to look at is the heat on the 7-day forecast.
Right, we saw temperatures close to 90. We're going to bump it up to 96 tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is going to be a weather impact alert, you guys. Throughout the morning hours, we'll be basically starting with warm conditions by 7, 8 o'clock in the mid-60s. By midday, already at 85, on our way to a high of 96. Again, heat advisory takes effect tomorrow morning at 11, stays in effect until at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Basically cooling off for Monday, and then we're going to be issuing another weather impact alert for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, where there'll be an excessive heat watch that'll be in place, at least at this point for Tuesday and Wednesday. But again, if we're talking about temperatures close to 97, 100 degrees come Thursday, that could get extended, and it will cool off heading into Friday of next week with temperatures right around 90 degrees.
Definitely temperatures we need to be watching over the next few days. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here again at 11.